OM Canon 31, the Book of Enoch Henok, the Book of Remembrance verses 41 to 107. Prophecies of Enoch in a symbolic speech.
This video features a translated version of the original German text. Please be aware that the translation may contain inaccuracies, as it is one of the earlier versions of the OM Mirado. A more updated version includes additional context and clarification for many of the words used. For a deeper understanding of the content, it's strongly recommended to refer to the original German text and review each term individually. This will help ensure a clearer grasp of what is being conveyed.
Displeasure, evil and injustice weigh on man of earth since times of old already. And this was already so heretofore, when the first prophet was on earth, who was called Henok. And Henok did his duty among the generations of men of earth, yet he was mocked by fools the same as the prophet of the new age. But Henok was born as earth human, and was prophet 9,308 years before the time of the prophet Emmanuel, and thus 11,245 years before the prophet of the new age. And although he was earth human due to birth on earth, but his origin, meantime, was on Lausanne, which is a world very far from the earth. Hence, this meaneth that Henok was a traveller from afar from the depths of the universe, but who was wise and knowing and able in truth, and who also was full of love and of sense of duty, so he took suffering and misery upon himself, and worked as prophet on earth. And much of the history is written in scriptures and books of earthmen, yet many things are falsified, so that the truth is much lacking. But the words of blessings of Henok are written down somewhere else, so they shall be instruction to man of earth in remembrance, and so that man of earth may remember the truth and change. Therefore, the Eshwish reporteth about the words of remembrance, which are given through Henok and others, and which are of much instruction. Thus these are the words of blessings of Henok, wherewith he blessed the righteous and wise, and who will survive without affliction at the day of dying, and who will be far away from the anxiety and fear of the evil ones and unrighteous. And Henok was a righteous man, and thus his eyes were opened in wisdom. So he saw things which the watcher angels of the Ishwish showed unto him, and from whom he heard and knew and understood everything that he saw. And Henok was lifted up by the watchers of the Ishwish, so they brought Henok unto him, where he was taught for a long time about what was coming to the generations of men of earth. But also Henok was seeing in visions the events of time into the future, wherein he also taught the people of earth, and therefore he spoke.
Everything which I saw and heard fell into my mind, and also I understood and knew everything which was given, said, and revealed unto me. But what I saw was not for this generation of man, but for the distant generations of the future, who will come. Truly, about the righteous and about the unrighteous I spoke to the wise ones of the Ishwish, and with the great ones, and also with the Ishwish, who is the Ishwish of earth and the earthly generations of men, and who is a traveler from afar from the universe. And the Ishwish and his helpers live at a place unknown to earth, from where he watcheth over the earth and the generations of men, and from where he or his watchers also appear in the singing light, thus floating through the air. And also coming from that place, the Ishwish appeareth alone, floating through the air or with his armies, and also in the full power of his might, and covering the sky with the radiating ships of light, which are without sail, but fly through the air, singing. And as man today is fearful thereof, as also about that which I have seen and heard, so the people of the coming distant time will also be anxious and fearful. And verily, all will be fearful in the distant time, and also the watchers will tremble in the new Ishwish of the coming time. For much disaster will fall upon the world caused by earth man, and also great fear and trembling will grip the people everywhere unto the ends of the earth. And the high exalted mountains will be shaken and be hurled down, and the high hills will sink to become plains, flat like melting honey before the flame of fire. The earth will sink into itself and everything which is on the earth also. Life will perish because there will be a judgment over everything which liveth, and also judgment will be over the unrighteous as also over the righteous, produced and created by man himself, who in hard consequential chain determineth destruction for himself and his world in succession of many millennia, and already beginning at my time. Verily, but the destruction will create peace for the righteous, and a great number of them will remain protected. Because of the righteous will truly only be few, but who will be protected by the wise counsel of the true prophet, if the righteous lend them their ear at the distant coming new age. The righteous will be chosen ones, yet through wisdom they will make themselves to chosen ones. So grace will hold sway over them when the death suns, ignited by human hands, will glow in the most glaring fire, if a stop will not yet be ordered due to reason and due to the wise teachings of the prophets of the passing times. But only few righteous will fare well, if the instructions of the prophets will be ridiculed, and verily only few will survive the fires of the death suns. To the surviving, however, shines the light of love and wisdom, as they will be blessed. Likewise, the unrighteous will crumble into ashes by the embers of the fire. And see, justice cometh with myriad-fold force to hold judgment in self-created punishment over earth-man, whereby through their own offense all unrighteous will be annihilated who were fools and have mocked creation. Their self-created punishment will rightfully come over them, which will burn their flesh while alive, if a stop is not ordered due to reason and the turning and changing to truth and to creation. The wicked human being, due to his own offense, will be punished with deadly fire, which he createth himself in deadly delusion from the minerals of life. So I saw the events of time in the distant future, and so also it will be fulfilled, if there is no reversal in turning away from evil to good. Therefore man shall be admonished and warned for this and all coming times, that he shall walk the way of righteousness before the deadly destruction of irreversibility breaketh down over him. Verily I have seen all things about earth, of the universe and about men, and also I have acquired all things about life and the laws and commandments. I have seen everything which occurreth in the sky, the lights which are stars in the sky at night, and as they do not change their course in a short time, but only in thousands and millions of years. Verily, I have seen that the stars are suns and planets, as our sun is also during the day, and also the moon of the night. Verily, I saw as they rose in the sky in the land of the morning, and also how they set far behind the horizon in the land of the evening, exactly according to their order, and every star at its time, true to the laws and without breaking them. And I saw the earth as an uneven sphere, like all other stars, which are spheres yet not quite spheres. Therefore they are in between the shape of an egg in a sphere. And also I saw the paths of the stars around their suns, and also the moons which circle around the planets, which have their paths like that of an elongated shape of an egg, which is laid by the feathered ones. Therefore, man, like me, look at your earth, and also notice everything which occurs on it, by day and by night, and from the first to the last, as every work of creation appeareth. Open your eyes, and see the summer and the winter. See the growing fruits, and the grain, and the clouds, and the dew, and the rain, and also see the snow in winter, how it lieth like a white mantle on the mountains and on the land. But I also saw other things than what presently is visible to the eye of man, and what I saw was the time of another time which is yet to come. Thus I saw pictures and occurrences, which showed me how all trees were desecrated, and looked as if they were withered, and all their leaves had fallen off. except for 14 trees, which did not shed their leaves and kept their leaves for 3 years, until the new leaves sprouted. And again I observed the days of summer, and I notice above the sun and also opposite from it another sun, but it was created by man's hand from the minerals of life. And the sun concealed many deaths within itself, and spread them over all the land and over the waters and in the air. And the people sought cool places and shade from the burning of this man-made sun, yet only few could save themselves, and many were mutilated. The earth burned in the glowing heat of the man-made sun, and the people could not step on the earth and not on a rock, because the burning was severe like the liquid earth of a volcano. But the people also could not cool themselves in the waters of the oceans and lakes and rivers, because the waters boiled and evaporated, so the waters rose as thick fog and baled together in heavy dark clouds. But the deadly man-made sun emitted invisible power of death, which mixed with the clouds and also with fine dust, which floated in the air and darkened the light of the sun. And the clouds, impregnated with the death power, let fall down their death rain on all the land and waters of the earth. And therefore the skin of the people burned from the rain, and this also happened to the animals and all plants, and whatever was affected succumbed to death or to mutilation. But I observed further, seeing how the trees newly covered themselves with the green of leaves and newly bore fruit. I also saw that the people who survived were changed and prayed to creation, because they had recognized to regard everything and to esteem creation, which hath made all life and which liveth eternally. And men recognized the works of creation, which existed to the full extent long before man, and which newly arise every year at its time. And man also recognized that the works of creation do not change, but that they remain as creation hath created them by its laws and commandments and by its order, that everything occurreth eternally in the uniformity of determination. See therefore, you human beings, see how the rivers and lakes and the oceans and the smallest watercourse always accomplish their common business together. Yet what are you human beings doing? You seest not and hearest not, and you have not endured, and you also have not fulfilled the laws and commandments of creation, and not obeyed its order. You have violated all determinations of creation, and with haughty words from your unclean mouth, you blasphemingly have slandered the greatness of creation. Verily, your doing and thinking and acting is an offense to life and to creation, for you are hard-hearted and will find no peace for a long time, which will be for many thousands of years. And do not think that you dost not have to atone for your offenses, because you would die of death anyway, because as you err in your own foolishness, so you also err therein. Verily, life hath not been lived when you diest of death. For again and again, after death, you will awaken to new life and newly have an existence on earth, often and irresistibly, and no human being exists who could avoid this. Therefore, you will live again after death. Always and always again. So you will be the old ones of yourself in future coming lives. Therefore you will endure self-created punishment in coming times for your acts of disgrace of previous lives. And as this is so, you will therefore curse your days of disgraceful life which you, now and in coming times, will lead, and that for you, at the hour of disaster, the past and present will exist. And as you are uninstructable, the years of life for you vanish, and the damnation for you will be great, and also you will find no mercy. And verily, in distant coming times, your own judgment will overtake you, as you must hand over your own fictitious and brittle peace to famish in your own curse as self-accursed unrighteous ones. But verily, For the righteous will be joy, love, light, and peace, and they will inherit the world and form it anew when you hast been snatched away by your own curse of damnation. And the elect will acquire more wisdom than ever before, and they will all live and not surrender to unrighteousness again, neither due to carelessness nor due to bravado, but they will be knowledgeable ones who have great wisdom and who in respectful joy will fulfill the laws and commandments and the order of creation. And they will no longer punish themselves of their own power throughout their life, as you art still doing and will be doing for many thousands of years. And also they will not die any more by murderer hands and judgments, by plagues and raging judgments and wars and jealousy and other evils, like you will still do for many thousands of years. Human beings of the distant future will complete the number of their days and years of life up to the last hour, and also will grow old in peace. And also the years of their happiness will be many, in long-lasting bliss, and in love for their entire life. And unto me, Henok, is given the knowledge about the truth of the future and the past, and also about the events regarding the generations of men of earth. Therefore, I was educated about these things by the Ishwish and by his watcher angels, that I may instruct the people on earth, so they shall know about the place of origin of their species.